Welcome family. In this video we are going to look at mathematics paper 1 for the year 2023, and we are going to consider this one as part 3, where we are going to start from question 13. Now we have the mass of a bag of milk is 25.2 kg. Calculate the tolerance. Now tolerance is given by, we need to find the maximum value or the upper bound. From there we are going to subtract the minimum value from the maximum value. So how can we find the maximum value and the minimum value? Now let's go back to our question. So we have seen that the true value is given by 25.2 kilograms. Now whenever the absolute error is not given, you are supposed to find the absolute error using the decimal points that you have. So from the question we can tell and see that we only have one decimal place, and whenever you have one decimal place, the absolute error is equal to 0.05. so that is what you need to know. One decimal place 0.05, two decimal places 0.005, so that's a pattern. If we just have the whole number, you get 0.5 as your absolute error. Now let's move on to, let's find the maximum value. For us to find the maximum value, we are going to get our true value, which is 25.2 plus the absolute error 0.05. Now make sure as you are adding, make sure the decimal points are in a straight line. So that is the rule for addition. So is subtraction. 0 plus 5 will give us a 5 here. 2 plus 0 will give us a 2. Here we have a decimal point. 5 plus 0 is 5. Then 25. Our maximum value is equal to 25.25. We move on to find the minimum value. Now the minimum value is just the opposite of maximum value, so we need to find the difference between the true value and the absolute error. So here we have 25.2. this time subtract 0.05. so here same as there is a 0, so 0 minus 5 it can't, so we need to get a 1 from 2. We put it here. This makes a 10. 10 minus 5 will give us a 5. Then here we have 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. Then point here we have 25.15 as our minimum value. 25.15. so the difference between these two numbers is our tolerance. So that's how you find the tolerance. You just have to find the difference between maximum value and the minimum value. So 25.25 minus 25.15. Okay, so here we have a 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. Then we have a point, so the answer is 0.1. or 0.10, which is same as 0.1 as our tolerance. So remember, the first thing you find the maximum value, the second one you need to find the minimum value, then the final answer is given by finding the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value. Let's move on to relative error. Relative error is given by the absolute error on top, remember that, divided by the true value. So the absolute error is 0.05 kg divided by 25.2 kg. This is a ratio we are going to cancel, giving us 0.05 over 25.2. So we need to look at the lowest number between the two numbers. So we can tell and see that from the denominator that is the greatest number. So the lowest number is the one on top, which is 0.05. Now we need to count the number of decimal places because we need to remove the decimal for us to find the answer by division. So let's count it from the right to the left. So we have 1, 2. So whenever you have 2 decimal places, you multiply by 100. If one decimal place by 10, 2 decimal places 100, 3 decimal places 1000, just like that. So the same number that we have used to multiply the smallest number is the same number that you need to use to multiply the larger number. 0.05 times 100 will just give us a 5 here. Then for this number 25.2 times 100, what you just have to do under mathematics paper 1 is, since we have 2 zeros, the decimal will move 2 points to the right. So 1, 2. So the decimal is coming here. What are we supposed to put here? We put a 0. So this is same as 5 over 25, 20. Then what's our final answer? The final answer, 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 25 is 5. 5 into 20 is 4. So whenever you have 4 digits, and if the number can go into those 4 digits without giving a remainder, you just have to divide the upper number into 2 digits, then and the other 2 digits. Then from there, the number that you are supposed to put in between is 0. So our final answer as a fraction is 1 over 504. We move on to question 14. In the diagram, 3 points A, B and C are on level ground. The bearing of B from A is 35 degrees. Angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees and angle ACB is equal to 40. The first one, find the bearing of A from C, B, A from B. Okay, so the first step that we are supposed to do is we need to draw vertical lines. For the ones that we have, we are just going to extend. So here we extend this line. We also have to put here. Then for this one, since we don't have, you need to draw a vertical line. On top you put north. And remember, all these 3 lines are parallel to each other. We need that point for us to make calculations. Now let's go to the first question. We want the bearing of A from C. So this bearing is coming from C. So which line are we supposed to consider? C. So the line from which the bearing is coming from must always be vertical. So this line is C. So where the bearing is coming from is a vertical. Then where the bearing is going to can be horizontal or can be diagonal. But the key is where it is coming from must always be considered to be vertical. Since it's coming from C, this line here, this is our C. Now, if this is the point where the C is, when trying to draw the angle for the bearing, you always have to start north of that point. So we need to start from any point but above this C. So it can be here, it can be at any point as long as it is above that point. And we also have to move in a clockwise direction. Now, if this line, the vertical line is C, where is A? So this line, I mean this letter A, this line indicates the A because this line connects A to C. So that's the key. So we move in this direction like this until we reach here. So that was the concept that was needed for us to find this answer. Now, how can we find this angle? Okay, so we can find this angle here. And if we are able to find this angle, then we'll add 40 plus this angle minus 360. We'll be able to find the bearing of A from C. Now, let's look at this one. We are going to use the alternate rule, where this angle is equal to this angle. So if we can find this angle, we can also find this angle. Now here, since here there is 35, Also here there is 35. Now remember, this angle is 90. We are given it's 90. So 90 minus 35 will give us 55. So it means here there is a 55. If there is a 55, also here there will be a 55. So 55 plus 40 will give us 95. Then 180, sorry, not 180, 360 minus 95 will give us the final answer. So the final answer will be 265 degrees. So that is our answer there. Now let's go to find the bearing of F from B. So you can feel free and try to pause the video, try to find F from B. So the first thing that you are supposed to do is, I want you to locate line B. So remember, where the bearing is coming from is considered to be a vertical line. So since the B is here, this line is a B. And we said, if B is here, we are going to move from this point. Then where are we going to? We are going to A. Where there is A, so this line connecting A and B becomes the A. So we are supposed to move in this direction until we reach the line A. So we want to find this angle. Remember, a straight line adds up to 180. So from here up to here, it's 180. So 180 plus 35, we have the angle that we are looking at. So it's 180 plus 35, we have the angle which is 215 degrees. So that is the answer for this question. Okay, we move on to question 15. Given that f of x is equal to 3x minus 5 over 2 and g of x is equal to x plus 2, find f of inverse of x. Now for most of the functions have the same pattern. So it's all about, you just have to master stuff like this. Now since we want the inverse of f, we are going to write the function for f, which is this one here. F of x is equal to 3x minus 5 divided by 2. The first step that you are supposed to do is, where there is f of x, you substitute y. Then after that, we need to make x the subject of the formula. So how can we make x the subject of formula? We need to get rid of the fraction. So we can say over 1, we cross multiply. So 2 times y will give us 2y. 1 times 3x minus 5 is still 3x minus 5. Since we are making x the subject of the formula, we can shift negative 5 to the left side. So this is 2y. The negative will change into positive 5 is equal to 3x. So to isolate x, we divide by 3, here by 3. So what is the value of x? The value of x is, x as a subject formula is equal to 2y plus 5 over 3. Therefore, the inverse of f of x is equal to, now we need to write the whole thing, but where there is y, we replace back with x. So this is our final answer. Okay, now let's move on to b. For b, let's first do this. So -1. So let's say here we put x. Now, do we have this? Yes, we have it. This one is equal to this one. So it means the expression that we have formed from the inverse of the f of x is the one that we are going to use for us to find the actual numerical value. So f of -1, where there is x, we have 5. So from the expression, we need to substitute x with 5. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 5, that is 15 over 3. 3 into 15 is 5. Then for question C, we need to find a composite function. So how do you find the composite function? We are just going to get the two functions that we are given, then we combine to make one function. Now after equal sign, we need to begin with the first function, which is the function of f. You open brackets, then the g of x will be the inside function. So from there, we are going to write the f of x function. So the f of x function is 3x minus 5 over 2. From there, where there is x is where we are going to put the function of g. So what's the function of g? The function of g is x plus 2. So this will be 3, open brackets, x plus 2 minus 5 over 2. Then we can expand 3 times x, 3x, 3 times positive 2, positive 6 minus 5 over 2. Then here we are going to subtract and get positive 1 over 2. So this is the composite function for the given two functions. Okay, so we have question 16. Question 16 is dealing with circle theorem. In the diagram, A, B, C, and D are points on the circumference of the circle with center O. BD is equal to AD. So line BD, this line is equal to this line. So whenever we have this one, the triangle ABD is an isosceles triangle. What does that mean? So what it means, this angle must be equal to this angle, because the two opposite lines are equal. So we are dealing with an isosceles triangle. Let's look at the first question. So the first question is find angle A or B. So A or B, this angle. Now for this one, we are going to use the property angle at the center is twice the angle is twice the angle on the circumference. So that's what we are going to use. So how do you find this angle? So this angle, we are going to multiply by 2, then we will be able to find this angle. 40 times 2 is 80. So that is our answer for A or B, 80 degrees. Okay, if the question was to be reversed, given an angle on the circumference, I mean the center, and asked to find the one on the circumference, you need to divide. 80 divided by 2, you get 40. BCD. So BCD, this angle. How can we find this angle? Okay, so if you can look at this, we have this point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4. All these 4 points lie on the same circumference, so they are giving us a polygon called a cyclic quadrilateral. So ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral. Now what does that mean? So what it means that if there is an angle x here and there is an angle here opposite to this, adds up to 180. So that's the concept for this one. We are going to say x plus y must equal to 180. Now can we find this angle? Yes, we can find this angle. Remember, we are saying these two angles must be equal. So now let's say we have two letters. Let's use letter x. Here we have x, also here we have x. So how can we find the value of x? So we'll say x plus x plus 40 is equal to 180. Picture this triangle like this. That's a point. We have 40 here. So these two base angles must be equal. That's a concept. X plus x is 2x plus 40 is equal to 180. We collect the like terms. 2x is equal to 180 minus 40. 2x is equal to 140. We divide by 2. We divide by 2. Then x is equal to 70. So the values for each angle, here we have 70, also here we have 70. So the whole concept, whenever you have an isosceles triangle, is that if you subtract the given angle from 180, the remainder, you just need to find half of that represent each base angle. So that's a concept there. Now remember we said if this angle add up to 180 with the opposite angle, what are we supposed to do for us to find this opposite angle? So we just have to do subtraction. 180 minus 70, it means here there is 110. Because if we want to use this formula, we know that x plus y must add up to 180. The value of x is 70 plus y is equal to 180. If we shift this number to this side, it will give us y is equal to 180 minus 70, which is equal to 110. So that is the answer for BCD. So the whole BCD is 110. Now for OBD. OBD. So we don't have a line here. Let's see if we can draw a line. So we need to draw a line from O. We have it. So OBD. This angle here. Now what can we do? So for us to find the OBD, we are going to use the principle under the same isosceles triangle. Why do we say we have another isosceles triangle? Is this? Let me first get rid of this. Okay, so here OB is a radius. Even this one is a radius. Remember, 2 radii or 3 radii. Radii from a circle are always equal. If these two are always equal, they are giving us an isosceles triangle. We said here we have 80. So these two base angles must be equal to each other. So 180 minus 80 is 100. Half of 100, here there is 50. Also here there is 50. Remember, the whole angle gave us what? 70. So 70 minus 50 is 20. OBD is equal to 20 degrees. So this is how we can share information on this one. So what I can say for those that are writing their exams this year, I wish you nothing but the best. So guys, you just have to keep on studying. And I'm sure for mathematics you've seen the pattern. Mathematics is easy to get a 1 because the questions are almost the same every year. They just maybe the only change that we can see maybe are numbers, but it's almost the same. So for this one, you don't have to worry. My maybe advice is on chemistry, physics, and biology. For that one, you need to think outside the box, because for that one we are expected to have more questions which may seem to be new to us. So that's it, but just keep on studying, things will be okay. Thank you so much.